Rods are used, to heal the body in various ways. They help charge the body in various ways, because all you're doing is that when you're taking in etheric energy or etheric charge, you're actually using your you're actually using your force field. Let's break it down in the short term. Your energy body. You're using that body to draw in energy from the cosmos. What these things do, they solidify the cosmic charge. So they bring the cosmic charge, which is vital force, into these things, rods, organites, and then you pull from it easily. Whereas the magician or the yogi will be able to just draw vital energy directly into his pulse without needing to use any of these equipments. And because we've become so humanized and so physical, we use these tools as a form of healing. And this is why many people use crystals as well. And the more solidified you are, then you would need to use food. Some people don't need to eat. So these are, how we draw in energy. But definitely copper is one of them that draws in energy very well as magnetism. Magnesium, which is a good source of element to use in things like these. I'm going to be touching on some elements, not all of them. Silver is a magnetic pool as well. It's a magnetic pool, so it draws energy in as well. Gold is an amplifier, which amplifies energy, which is actually electric by nature and is ruled by the sun. The sun in astrology deals with Leo, becoming first, not even just becoming first, but becoming the light into the world, becoming that spark. And why that is the fixed point, and why I use that at the point or the apex of the pyramids that I always make generally, it's because it's the top, it's the peak, it's the point which ascends you, the point which projects into you. It's the modifier and the charge of the bottom to the top to transform and to create a different spark. So by nature it's electric, and it's fire. It's governed by the fire element. The fire element obviously is to do with expansion, it's to do with explosion, it's to do with creativity. Why creativity? Because creativity is a fire structure. It's the way of expressing yourself in a way that you push out the force around you. You push it out into the public. You put it into action. Anything that acts is to do with fire. Anything that's abstract is to do with water. So in reality, negative and positive are actually compositions of fire and water. Right. So even aggression is fire element. So these elements have a correlationship. So when you're dealing with that, you're dealing with the apex from the pyramid, so you can use it in various corners in various areas. So the fire element does that. The water element obviously draws in. I always say it's good to use many forms of elements or many forms of metals in an orgonite. You also have the quartz. Now, what would be used in an orgonite to amplify it, to make it more powerful, would be silica. Silica is a form of quartz. Silica is quartz. When you use silica in an orgonite, you actually get the composition of orgonite and make it more powerful also. And obviously its structure is from the earth element. So it's another way of kind of working with that energy. So the quartz are very powerful. The charge is getting strong on these. So this is how you can use crystals, and you can use various metals to actually amplify and transform these Orgonite and make them work in such a way. So remember that when you work with various metals, you can tap into various degrees of planetary energies. These planetary energies and these 7 metals are obviously linked to these signs. So now to explain it briefly, I won't go into detail here. What you can do is choose various elements and interlink them with the signs. So each element correlates to a sign, and you look into that, you work out what element and what sign are interlinked with the planet, and then you can kind of work what element to add into an orgonite. So if you're making an orgonite, you can work out your planetary energy, your planetary motion, what your personality lies, what it has, what can you do to amplify or transform various aspects in your life. One way would be to look at the mundane astrology and work out your personal experience, and then intertwine it with what's happening in your life now. So you can actually intertwine it in various degrees and various ways. Astrology is amazing to tap into those sciences. And the deeper you go, the more you'll be able to know yourself. Astrology is the science of the soul working around the universe, knowing itself and traveling into the stars. When you work with astrology in that way, you're able to not just tap into the personality, but as well as the soul's journey in relations to other constellations. When you're dealing with mundane astrology, this is for astrologers I'm talking to, and those who are seeking to understand astrology. You're only knowing the personality level of a person. When you're dealing with esoteric astrology, you not only learn about the personal soul's journey, but you learn about its relationship to its rays, which actually stem and come from various constellations in the sky, such as Sirius, Pleiades, the Great Bear. These have an impulse which then are given to man to recognize and then actualize and then understand, which he learns from the hierarchies, from those higher planes of existence. Then those energies are passed on onto the personal soul mind into the mundane form of astrology. These also interlink and relate to the soul's purpose or soul's destiny point, which is actually founded in Vedic astrology, which is the destiny point of your karma. Vedic is an Hindu perspective of astrology, which deals with remedies and destiny points. Destiny points meaning karmic issues which were being actualized through your past life. So that deals with the actual karmic pattern. So to simplify, there is really 3 forms of astrology, which is actually all-in-one astronomy, which has not been explained correctly. This means that astrology is actually astronomy and astronomy is astrology. So when you get the whole concept, mundane, esoteric and Vedic, you are one with astrology, because you then interlink it with health. Health has a perspective in astrology, which then interlinks with the personality and the soul's experience in relation to its health modification, which then comes from its Vedic point its destiny point due to its karmic behavior or karmic lesson that it hadn't learned in its previous life, which then manifests itself into this life, which then causes these karmic issues to happen. When someone is born with a difficulty or a problem, it's because there was a karmic lesson or a karmic issue which occurred. Sometimes it's not the actual soul's fault, but it is something that happened along the line which caused it to happen. Every aspect, every lesson is then has to be actualized and known. So there is a point where the soul has so much lessons that it then grows, then it evolves. This is why someone is born with such high knowledge and someone is born with so low knowledge. This is to do with the journey of the soul, you know, what it goes through, the places that it has to go to. This is the lessons. This is why there's an old soul and there's a new soul. A new soul is based upon what experiences it's had. You can't judge someone just because you want to judge them. You have to look at the relationship between the karma, the relationship between the lesson, the relationship between what they've been through. What is it that they came to do? Why do they have to learn this before they can move on to this life? Each life has a different lesson, you know, and a lot of the time it's the soul that puts itself into this place and these circumstances for it to grow and to learn something new into the next life that it comes into, so then it can move on and progress. Everything's to do with progression. You can alter your progression through, obviously, through destiny. And that is to do with Vedic astrology. You can alter it by placing certain rings in your finger or doing certain mantras